obstacles. Healthy kids learn better and play harder. Call 217-735-2317 today to schedule your appointment. That's 217-735-2317. SIU Medicine, forward for you.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
From the Heart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. The news is brought to you by Baum Chevy Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, as well as Connexus, offering fiber internet in Clinton. Click their icon on DeWittDailyNews.com to find out more. Here's what we got new for you on this Friday. Organizers of Clinton's America 250 committee are pointing out some important deadlines for the community to be aware of. Bobby Perryman with the Clinton Celebrates America 250 committee indicates that they are still in need of volunteers to help with this July 4th's big celebration. She says this Monday on the square, those interested can attend a volunteer orientation program at 6:30.
Well, we are still looking for volunteers because a big free event like this needs a lot of hands. We are actually going to have a volunteer meeting and orientation up on the square on the stage this coming Monday, June 8th at 6:30. So we hope to see anyone who wants to volunteer there. You can also contact me. My email is Perryman, Perryman, at vwarner.org, or you can call me at the library, 217-935-5174, and we'll be happy to see you there. So we need people to help coordinate the parade. We need people to help be at different stations for the 5K race that's going to be Saturday morning. We'll need people just to help with the different activities up on the square for the kids, like the sand art and the cotton candy. And also people to be at our information booth to pass out maps and guide everyone to where they need to go.
The committee is also looking for more parade entries. Perryman says it's free and you don't have to have a float. Entries should be directed to Edith Brady Lunny by the week of June 22nd.
We're also hoping for more entries for the parade. The parade is going to go from the First Baptist Church down Illini Drive / Main Street to the square on Saturday morning, Saturday the 5th. And we've got about 20 entries right now. We would really love to have 30. There's no cost to sign up at all. And you can be a walker, you can have a golf cart, you can have a vehicle, you can ride a horse. There are lots of different options there, and the theme is Let Freedom Ring. So you can do a lot with that. And you can contact Edith Brady Lunny. She is the one coordinating all of that. I don't have her email right in front of me right now, but you can always come to the library and ask me, and I can get you the information. She has not given us an actual cutoff. So we're going to say probably the week of the 22nd. And you'll want to go through our Facebook page. All of the contact information is there, or you can contact me at the library and I can get you Edith's email. Edith Brady Lunny is coordinating all of this. That'll be on the 4th at 10 a.m.
Many are looking forward to the America 250 5K race. Perryman says online registration closes on June 6th. But if you miss the deadline, you can register the morning of the event.
Registration is open until the 6th. So if you want to register, hop onto our Facebook page. It's one of the events that we have on our Facebook page, which is Clinton Celebrates America's 250th birthday. And you can find the registration link there. If you register, you also get a t-shirt. that goes with it. The 5K is just for fun. It is a fun run. And it will, I don't have the route in front of me, but all the information is there on our Facebook page. So you can register day of. You will not get the t-shirt, however, but everyone who does participate gets a really cool commemorative medallion that was designed and created by Route 51 Creations. So you'll need to register by Saturday. Again, go to our Facebook page. We have all of our events. And if you're familiar with Facebook, they have like event pages and all the information is there.
Learn more about this summer's America 250 celebration in Clinton by going to the Clinton Celebrates America 250 Facebook page or by visiting Perryman at the Warner Library at 310 North Quincy Street. Those interested in parade entry forms can reach Edith Brady Lunny at eblunny@hotmail.com. Coming up shortly on this expanded newscast, Senator Sally Turner reacts to Illinois' $56 billion budget with new taxes. The work trucks and construction crews around Heyworth schools this time of year signify the start of the summer project season. Superintendent Dr. Lisa Taylor explains that big projects around this district this summer will include upgrading the wireless network, new flooring in areas, and an ag building overhaul, courtesy of an anonymous $750,000 donation.
Yeah, it's definitely already project season. So when you pull in, you see trucks here and we're doing a lot of fun things this summer and some that are a little bit overdue. So updating our wireless infrastructure, which doesn't sound pretty, but when you know how many people are streaming and using, our phones are on our network and that sort of thing. So that's a big project that's being, partially funded by E-Rate. We also have a crew right here. They've been here last week. So they're replacing all the lobby flooring in our new gym area and that hallway. So the flooring we installed when we built this maybe 5 years ago had been bubbling since after a year or so. So we worked through that under warranty and making sure we didn't have to cover any of that cost. But all of that's coming up. It's already actually up and halfway down. So in addition to that, we have those kind of things that aren't pretty, but have to be done. So think boiler and AC repairs. And then one that's going to be just an amazing project. And we talked about earlier this year, we had a donation, an anonymous donation for $750,000 to really give our ag building a complete, new face and even, a lot of new HVAC, boiler, that sort of thing. So it's going to be great space for our kids. The drawings look amazing and that work should be kicking off here soon.
Dr. Taylor feels that the anonymous donation was a huge blessing for the district's ag department. It will allow them to expand the building's storage and update its equipment, adding to the already robust program in Heyworth.
Yeah, just the space, storage, being able to, having the cabinetry, having the tools to do all the things they do. We have a great ag program. Our kids get it in junior high. It's one of the larger programs. They do very well. But just having updated technology, equipment, and space, honestly, we've done a lot with facilities here, at least in the past 5 years. And that's one area that hasn't really been touched. I mean, it looks like it's straight out of the 70s. And so kind of brings it up to the speed with everything else in the district and just, creating space and programs that kids enjoy. The district and the community has supported that. We have, completely revamped all of our classroom furniture, creating flexible spaces, gymnasiums and, obviously the stadium repairs we didn't have a choice but to do, and really dedicating space to intervention where kids can learn in small groups. None of those things are easy and take a ton of work, but this is one of those projects that's just going to be a lot of fun. And we have more dreams for out there. We want an outdoor kitchen for community dinners and to use our greenhouse. And so hopefully this is step one of much more to come in terms of our ag and FFA programs.
Summer is also the time for turnover, and Dr. Taylor states that unfortunately they have a handful of instructors who will be leaving the district and whose spots need to be filled. She notes that while they do not struggle to find candidates who are qualified, the general pool of applicants is small.
Yeah, we've got a lot of fun stuff going on, but summer tends to be HR season, and I hate to talk about it too much because you don't want anybody to resign at this point. But we do know one teacher who's interviewing elsewhere, so I'm assuming we'll have to hire for that. And we had a late resignation in science. We have a teacher who's moved to be an administrator in Bloomington, but we had a gentleman who applied who was finishing out at ISU and he hadn't submitted, and I saw like the start of an application in there and one of his references, and so I reached out to him. So we did interview for science last week, 2 people, and we got a teacher for that. So hopefully everything stays steady and nobody moves around, but it does seem like we get a couple weeks in and life changes, people, their spouses move, and then we're all scrambling for the same few people. The quantity is so small that quality is hard to judge, but we do attract pretty quality candidates. And one of the most effective recruiting methods for us has really been word of mouth. If you know somebody who teaches this and they're, thinking about or in this area, the problem is then you start annoying your peers because we're all just taking teachers from each other. This kid that we're hiring for science is an ISU grad, so we didn't have to steal him. The later it gets, the harder it gets.
Sure. We'll hear more from Taylor in the weeks ahead on the use of technology in classrooms in the coming school year. Learn more about Heyworth schools by visiting husd4.org or by finding the district's Facebook page. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. Let's take a quick break with a word from our sponsors.
Baum Chevrolet Buick offers full transportation options while giving you peace of mind. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. This is what we do every day. We listen to you, give you options for routine maintenance, major mechanical problems, or collision repairs with a staff that's knowledgeable to find the best option for you. Baum Chevrolet Buick, your full-service dealer. See us at baumchevybuick.com right from the start.
It's the quiet moments you count on. A call that connects instantly, a show that never buffers, a home that just works. That's the difference with Connexus Fiber Internet. We built a buried fiber network designed for consistency, earning us the title of top-rated fiber internet provider in Illinois. With plans starting as low as $25 a month and 3-year price lock options, it's reliability you can feel without the unpredictability. Because with Connexus, connection means everything. Experience better at Connexus.com. Nothing connects us like Connexus.
News time is 20 minutes after the top of the hour. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. A local lawmaker is reacting to the state of Illinois' latest budget, totaling $56 billion, and questioning whether all the revenue they are planning on will actually be realized. On the WHOW Morning Show Thursday, State Senator Sally Turner told the Hart Media Group, rather than relying on sustainable revenue, lawmakers utilized roughly $150 million in funding and implemented a series of new tax categories to plug the budget hole.
$56 billion budget. And a lot of that budget money consisted of, in order to fill that budget hole, sweeps. Sweeps, I believe it's $150 million of sweeps from some funds, and then also taxes. The different taxes that we're going to see coming up are a digital advertising tax. So digital advertising tax, what concerns us most is that there's a lot of small businesses that use digital advertising because it's cheaper. It's a lot cheaper than getting on TV and trying to advertise it or even paper advertisement. There's a new 10% tax on those advertising services. It estimates $140 million in revenue. That money that they're estimating, and then that'll be a filler for whatever projects that they decided to appropriate for. But we don't know if that revenue is really going to come in. It's fake. It's fake money, basically.
The budget package also introduces a targeted cryptocurrency tax. The measure establishes a 0.2% basis point tax tied directly to physical cryptocurrency infrastructure locations operated within Illinois boundaries. Senator Turner criticized the addition, noting that state officials did not even provide a clear fiscal estimate on what the crypto tax would actually generate before plugging it into the final budget.
Then we have a crypto tax. The crypto tax is actually harder for me to understand, but it's 0.2% basis points, and it's on the physical location within Illinois that is taxable. Now, how cryptocurrency all works, I do not know. I know that's something that's going to generate some revenue, but they didn't even have an estimate on what that was going to generate. So again, some fictitious figure that they plug in the budget. A social media platform fee, which that has to do with if you have more than 100,000 users in Illinois, then a fee's charged on you for a per month basis, and it slides up to 10%, 10 cents to 50 cents a month. They're estimating that to be a $200 million a year. How do you do that? No one has said how. There's no process in place in order to do it. I suspect it'll be somewhat in the way of how they started taxing us for our Amazon purchases and things like that there'll be a way that they can see that. I don't know. But again, fictitious money created to plug a hole in the budget. It's not real money.
The latest spending plan implements a social media platform fee aimed at platforms with more than 100,000 users in Illinois. The monthly fee scales from 10 cents to 50 cents per user, which Illinois Democrats claim will bring $200 million annually. Senator Turner questioned the logistical validity of the fee, stating that no actual process or enforcement mechanism has been detailed.
They're taxing us out of Illinois is what they're doing. I even saw for a moment there was a bill out there that was a tax that if you left Illinois, they wouldn't tax. I mean, you're going to make us stay here in your corner. Anyway, that's some of the tax stuff. But then I also can talk a little bit about the faux tax relief, basically, which is your 1 cent your 1 cent tax, not sales, on your gas. So they're lifting that. I believe it starts in July, but not the sales tax. The sales tax is way more than the 1 cent tax, which goes to the road fund. I believe it's 6.25. So the increase starting in July. So they didn't take that away or give that a holiday. It's the 1 cent. So you get a whole flipping $5 over 6 months. It didn't really help you much, but it looks good.
According to Senator Turner, there are very questionable things being funded in the Illinois budget, leading her to question what Illinois taxpayers are actually getting for their taxes.
A lot of those are plans for things that are north of I-80, as you can imagine, because the majority of the population's up there anyway. I tell you one thing I saw in I guess it was in the BIMP, and the implementation, budget implementation. You have a budget, you have the implementation of the budget, and you have a revenue package.
Okay.
Revenue is how do I fund the budget. The BIMP is how it all works, how it all comes together.
Sure.
There was a allocation for, I believe it was $750,000. And I remember we were sitting in session, and Senator Chapin Rose says, check this out. It was $750,000 for Hustle Mommies. Hustle Mommies. Of course, everybody immediately looked it up. It's a group in inner city Chicago that I will say does a few good things, like helping teach mothers how to properly care for their children, things of that nature, things that our state government should already be doing, but whatever. But there's a portion of it that's related to it was called Mamas for Kamala, was a portion of it. So that's political.
Among other taxes added to the budget this year were a daily sports betting tax, adding to Illinois 50 cents per bet sports wagering tax from last year's budget. The Citizens Utility Board says they have uncovered what it describes as at least $54.4 million on overcharges in Illinois American Water Company's latest rate hike request. The request was submitted in January, and the consumer group has been looking into it as the 11th month regulatory approval process plays out. The Illinois Commerce Commission is expected to deliver its decision in early December, but in recent years has slashed millions of dollars in requests from various utilities. The Citizens Utility Board spokesman, Jim Chilson, says other consumer watchdog groups will soon be filing testimony protesting the requested rate hike.
They're going to file testimony. They look at the case from different angles, and we hope to adopt other pieces of testimony from other groups to increase the amount of reductions in this rate case. But this is the fourth rate hike that the company has pushed for in a decade.
If approved as submitted, the water company says the typical residential water customer would see an increase of about $14 a month, and the typical customer served by sanitary wastewater systems would see an increase of approximately $28 per month. This is the middle of an 11-month process that could see rates increased by January 2027 if approved by the ICC. A chance to learn about the Fort Deschartres State Historic Site near Prairie du Rocher in Randolph County this weekend. The site marks the location of the last of three successive forts named Deschartres, built by the French during their 18th century colonial occupation of what today is Illinois. The third fort, erected in the 1750s, served as the French seat of government and its chief military installation in the Illinois country. The Fort Deschartres Rendezvous is Saturday and Sunday, says event chairperson Jason Dusang.
Yeah, it's our 56th annual Fort Deschartres Rendezvous at Fort Deschartres there. Obviously been around for a long time. It's one of the times of the year that you can come down and see the fort alive. We have a lot of artisans inside the fort that are demonstrating 18th century.
Hours are 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday and 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Sunday. Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The Senate passing legislation to fund President Trump's immigration enforcement agencies early this morning. This came after weeks of delays and fierce backlash to an unrelated $1.776 billion settlement fund that threatened to derail the bill. Senators voting for the $70 billion legislation to fund immigration and customs enforcement and border patrol for the next 3 years. The House has passed a bill to aid Ukraine and sanction key segments of the Russian economy. The legislation seeking to cement U.S. assistance for Ukraine by providing more than $1 billion in security and reconstruction aid. Chinese leader Xi Jinping traveling to North Korea next week, and what will be his first visit in years. His trip will be the latest in a series of steps by China to reinforce its close ties with Korea. This is SRN News.
Ready for a bathroom upgrade that won't disrupt your life? Jacuzzi Bath Remodel is here to help. Take the stress out of renovations with quick, professional service from the name America trusts. Affordable, stunning selection of tubs and showers, each designed with style, safety, and your budget in mind. With customizable features like grab bars and seats, your new bath or shower will meet your entire family's needs.
I absolutely love my new bathroom. It's very hard to believe that they get it done in one day. Jacuzzi really outdid themselves.
Right now, we're waiving all installation costs, plus offering no interest and no payments for up to 1 year. Call now to schedule your free design consultation and quote. Call 800-486-3395. That's 800-486-3395. 800-486-3395. With purchase and installation, financing through third-party lenders, subject to credit approval. No interest and no payments if paid in full within 12 months. Interest charged from purchase date if not paid in full. Not all will qualify. Call dealer for
From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sports Wire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. In high school baseball sectional championship matchups for Saturday, in Class 1A, 1 seed Tremont takes on 2nd seed Lexington at Illinois Wesleyan on Saturday at 11 a.m., while the 4th seeded Gibson City Melvin Sibley takes on 1 seed Armstrong at Dwight at 11 a.m. In Class 2A, top-seeded St. Joseph Ogden takes on 2-seed Tolono Unity at Monticello at 11, while the 3rd-seeded Williamsville travels to top-seeded Pleasant Plains at 11 a.m. In Class 3A, second seed Champaign Central takes on 1 seed Normal U High at Mount Zion at 10 a.m., while second seed East Peoria takes on top seeded Dunlap at Washington at 11 a.m. In high school softball state semifinal matchups for today, in Class 2A, Williamsville will take on Carterville at the Peoria Slugger Stadium at 4:45 p.m., while in Class 3A, Chatham-Glenwood will take on Fenwick at the Peoria Slugger Stadium at 12:15 p.m. Pete Crow Armstrong's bloop RBI single capped a 4-run ninth inning, and the Chicago Cubs beat the Athletics 7-6 Thursday night to avoid a 3-game series sweep. Crow Armstrong also hit a solo homer, his 9th of the season, in the 6th inning for Chicago, which had lost 3 straight and 14 of 17. Joel Cannell, who is 1-2, gave up 5 Chicago hits in the 9th inning and was tagged for all 4 runs. Luis Medina replaced him with 2 outs and surrendered the tying single to Dansby Swanson before Crow Armstrong knocked in Seiya Suzuki. Ian Happ homered and drove in 3 runs for Chicago, which banged out 7 hits in the 9th inning for just 4 hits in the first 8. Ryan Rollison is 4-1 and worked the final 1 1/3 innings for the Cubs. Shea Langeliers hit 2 of the Athletics' 4 homers and drove in 3 runs. Tyler Soderstrom and Jonah Heim added consecutive homers in the 7th inning that gave the A's a seemingly comfortable 6-1 lead. Happ had a 446-foot homer to right, a 2-run shot off reliever Scott Barlow that nearly cleared the right field bleachers in the bottom of the 7th, tightening the score. JT Ginn allowed just 2 hits, including Crow Armstrong's 6th inning solo homer in the first 6 innings. He struck out 8 and walked 1. Langeliers' 4th inning solo shot smacked the right field wall and caromed out of the basket into the field. It was ruled a homer after a brief review. Alika Williams scored the A's 2nd run in the 6th when Crow Armstrong lost Henry Bolte's deep fly, which landed behind him near the warning track. Langeliers came up 2 batters later and made it 4-0 with his 16th homer. Chicago's Shoto Imanaga is 4-7 and gave up all 6 A's runs. He allowed 6 hits with a walk and struck out 5 before being pulled after Soderstrom and Heim homered in the 7th. The Athletics' Jack Perkins is 2-2 with a 5.46 ERA and faces fellow right-hander Pete Lambert, who is 4-4 with a 3.77 ERA, to open a 3-game series at Houston on Friday. Cubs righty Ben Brown is 2-2 with a 1.92 ERA and starts Friday afternoon against lefty Robbie Ray, who's 3-6 with a 4.45 ERA for visiting San Francisco. In scores from around the MLB yesterday, the Philadelphia Phillies beat the San Diego Padres 6-4, while the Baltimore Orioles took down the Boston Red Sox 8-2. The New York Yankees beat the Cleveland Guardians 2-1, while the San Francisco Giants took down the Milwaukee Brewers 12-9. The Toronto Blue Jays beat the Atlanta Braves 7-2, while the Kansas City Royals took down the Minnesota Twins 8-6. The Pittsburgh Pirates beat the Houston Astros 5-1, and the Arizona Diamondbacks beat the LA Dodgers 3-2. Seth Jarvis scored on a power play in overtime after Carolina erased a deficit in regulation, only to give up a late tying goal, and the Carolina Hurricanes beat the Vegas Golden Knights 4-3 in Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final on Thursday night to the series. Jarvis's heroics 3 minutes and 56 seconds into overtime came after a thrilling third period that included 4 goals being scored and another getting called off because of goaltender interference. Game 3 is Saturday in Las Vegas. There is now a guarantee that the series will return to Raleigh for Game 5 next week. Logan Stankoven made a terrific individual effort to get them on the board, taking the puck away from Rasmus Andersson, going to the net and banking a shot off Jeremy Lausen and in with 9 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in regulation. Instead of Vegas going home looking to move to the verge of a second championship in 9 years of existence, the series is all square, despite Hart making some big saves and Brett Howden scoring his playoff-leading 12th and 13th goals. The Green Bay Packers have continued their offseason objective of reaching long-term deals with their top receivers by signing Christian Watson to an extension. The Packers announced Thursday that they had signed Watson to an extension. The 27-year-old receiver is getting a 4-year, $110.5 million extension through 2030 with a $31 million signing bonus. Watson becomes the second Packers receiver to get an extension this offseason. Jaden Reed agreed in April to a 3-year extension that includes $50.25 million in new money and $20 million guaranteed. Watson tore his right anterior cruciate ligament, or ACL, in Green Bay's 2024 regular season finale, but he came back last season to catch 35 passes for 611 yards and 6 touchdowns in 10 games. He tied for the team lead in touchdown catches and ranked second in yards despite missing much of the season. Watson, Dobbs, and 2025 first-round pick Matthew Golden figure to lead a receiving unit that lost a couple of notable performers when Romeo Dobbs signed with the New England Patriots and Dontavion Wicks was traded to the Philadelphia Eagles. Watson has 133 catches for 2,264 yards, an average of 17 yards per reception, and 20 touchdowns. He has also run for 2 touchdowns. Rome Odunze was hampered by a foot injury for much of his second season with the Chicago Bears. That is part of what he is describing as his new normal. Odunze's health took an added importance for the Bears after they traded veteran receiver DJ Moore to Buffalo in March. If Odunze can return to the form he showed at the beginning of last season, he could go a long way to helping replace the production that the team lost in the Moore deal. Chicago selected Odunze with the number 9 pick in the 2024 draft after taking Caleb Williams at number 1 overall. After starring at the University of Washington in college, Odunze had 54 receptions for 734 yards and 3 touchdowns during a solid rookie season with the Bears. Odunze was Williams' top option at the beginning of last season, catching 20 balls for 296 yards and 5 touchdowns in the first 4 games. But his foot started bothering him in October, and the discomfort eventually put him on the sideline. Odunze said he is continuing with rehab exercises on both feet in an effort to stay on top of the issue. That's in addition to the work he does on the rest of his game. Get highlights of your local high school program by finding IL SportsWire on your preferred social media platforms, and get local sports anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. Overcast today with a chance for storms. Daytime highs approaching 84. Winds out of the southwest 10 to 20 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies tonight. Slight chance of thunderstorms. Lows dip down to about 68.